What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're continuing on our early, quote-unquote, early Regulation G team building series, and we're looking at our next restricted in Terapagos. So Terapagos is another solid Pokemon that you can build around, especially restricted wise. It has some pretty good results already. It's always had some solid results. Terapagos for a while was like, especially in the early parts of Regulation G back in the summer, was like that one restricted that always kept getting like second or third place, but never was able to get the big one for a while. And even now, like it's still getting like top cut results in tournaments. It just won Victory Road, by the way, and we'll show you that build in a second. But Terapagos is a very consistent restricted to use. In my opinion, I think it is the most consistent restricted to build around. So if I had to like give a recommendation right now to somebody, I would just recommend Terapagos just because it's like very balanced in what it's supposed to do, and especially like the results, speak for themselves. Now, the only thing you have to keep around is the support options that you need for the weaknesses for Terapagos, which of course is that fighting type, right? So something like Urshifu, by the way, is something that needs to come on your radar if you are a Terapagos player, just because, again, you don't want to be taking close combats. You are a normal type. And then, of course, the two big restricteds that also put pressure onto you is, of course, the Zamazenta, right? Because of, the body presses. You definitely don't want to be taking that. And then the other one, less common than Zamazenta, but still around, of course, is Koraidon. So these are two of the big ones that you have to kind of build around Terapagos to try and support against, because these can, pretty much just one-shot your thing unless you have a good amount of bulk investment, which we will show you. Right. And but at the end of the day, you still don't want to be taking those attacks, because again, you still live at 1 HP, but sometimes, that may not be enough depending on circumstances. Right. So but these are the big ones, of course. And like we said, the close combat from the Urshifu. So that being said, what are like some common sets that Terapagos can run? I think the most common one right now is, of course, the leftover set, with Tera Starfall. And then, you have something like this with Calm Mind setup. Okay, and then Substitute just is really good in terms of stalling Trick Room turns, right? Imagine like, a Calyrex Ice Rider or maybe a Fergap, they want to go for a Trick Room turn 1. You can use that turn to click Substitute, and then next turn you can click Protect, and already 2 turns of Trick Room have expired, and you still have your Substitute, right? So now they have to use their 3rd turn of Trick Room to try and break the Substitute, which you can just easily set again, and then Protect next turn if they have to. Or if you have to, for that matter, and then you're just good to go afterwards, right? Calm Mind is another great aggressive setup. Just like a Calyrex Shadow Rider, Calm Mind. Okay, you're basically doing the same thing, and sometimes their builds are very similar, right? You could just easily do this with Rillaboom, Incineroar, okay, and then pick one of the Ogerpons. You could do like Ogerpon either Heartflame, or you could do Ogerpon Cornerstone, and this is often like the core of a lot of these Terapagos / Calyrex Shadow Rider teams, where you have the support of double fake out along with 1 redirection support, because again, that's like it makes it very easy to try and set up either your Calm Minds or your Substitutes, right? So I think this is always like a good starting solid point, building point, I should say, just in terms of trying to build around Terapagos. Then from here, there are other ideas that you can definitely do, depending on how you want to play Terapagos. I have also seen Clear Amulet. I've been giving that a try. I think Clear Amulet is also pretty good. Again, the stats, right? So think about something like Snarl. Okay, you don't want to get Snarled from a Chi-Yu, right? So this is also where something like both either the Clear Amulet or the Covert Cloak set has been very useful with Terapagos, besides the recovery leftover items. So if you fear the Chi-Yu Snarl, you can just immediately counter that and just say, you know what, I've got a Covert Cloak, I don't mind that. You also get around Fake Out this way, so you don't have to worry about potential Fake Out plus some kind of attack coming in, like an Urshifu close combat. So, you can always just, take into account in terms of something like that. Or you can be even more aggressive and say, you know what, I don't want to do Calm Mind and I don't want to do Substitute. I want to do the aggressive Choice Specs idea, where you're just going with 4 attacks, no Protect, and, just rely on your strong offense that way. Because again, base 130 attack is still like very good. So you can definitely do like a Choice Spec set if you want, with 4 attacks. I think that also works well. Usually you'll see that on like either Tornadus / Whimsicott Hyperoffense variants, where they just want to click Tailwind and go, right? So you can definitely build around that. We can show you one of those kinds of builds within this video. But just in terms of like the partners itself, I think, again, it's just all about that fighting weakness that Terapagos has. So like, for example, I have seen something like Volcarona become a partner with Terapagos. Why? Just because, again, the bug typing with Flame Body and even Rocky Helmet helps you get around the Urshifu stuff. And they just get chipped right back. And, if they had Sash, now they don't have a Sash. So it's usually like a support bulky Volcarona set. So something like Rage Powder, of course, to redirect the fighting move. Again, you resist it. Then you also have something like Will-O-Wisp for the burn potential. If you don't get the burn from something like a Flame Body, you could do that. Then you can have something like Struggle Bug, right? Where you're just, again, weakening damage from them. So you have like physical damage reduction and you have special attack damage reduction with Struggle Bug. And then this last move can be whatever you want. It could be Overheat, it could be Heat Wave, something, some attack to click, right? And then this is usually either something like Terra Water or this is usually something like Terra Grass. And then usually this is also something like Max HP, Bold Nature. Where's the Bold Nature? Right here. And then they go like almost max Bold Nature like this. They can even just leave it right here at 228 and then just put like a couple points here, right? So something like this, is just something that's relatively common with a Volcarona, where you're just super bulky, physically redirect Zamazenta, redirect Urshifu, redirect the other fighting type that is escaping me, Zamazenta, right? So this is another kind of idea, right? Then you can also do like Clefairy. So again, fairy types also resist fighting types. So you can also consider this. And then of course, you know how bulky Clefairy is. And then you add Friend Guard onto your Terapagos, right? So now you can also take into account Friend Guard damage reduction in terms of your physical bulk, as well as your special bulk if you need to. If you want to survive like close combats or body presses and whatnot, Clefairy can help you do that because of that. And again, follow me to help support the Calm Mind stuff. Okay, and then you'll have your Fake Out Boys, of course. And then you can even just do stuff like After You in the Trick Room teams, right? So you could consider that. I think Clefairy is a very good option. We've seen success previously with that. But one of my other favorites is actually Screamtail here. So Screamtail is another excellent partner with Terapagos. Why? Because again, it's all about that Encore disabled lock, right? So what you can do, with the booster energy, you can outspeed the Zamazentas / Koraidons. You can click Protect, bait out the Collision Core / the Body Press, and then lock them in with Disable, right? And we've seen that tactic before, just throughout Scarlet and Violet. Whoever wants to use Screamtail, this is what they do. They focus around disabling that, so you can't click your fighting move, which means whatever you want to click after that, it's okay, because the main thing is surviving against that super effective fighting type attack. So yeah, I think the Screamtail is another great partner to have here, just because you are fast and you have Disable / Encore for you, and then again, just capitalizing off of the Protect stuff. So I think that works too. And then actually Grimmsnarl too. So again, more damage reduction, right? It's all about damage reduction. You have a Reflect here. You have Speed Control with something like Thunder Wave here. You can Foul Play, both Calyrex and the Ice Rider. I think Grimmsnarl is excellent here. And then you can do Taunt stuff just to, stop Protect. Or you could also, stop Trick Room. Taunt is very, very good. I've seen this set before. Then you could add aggressive partners, something like Chiyu and Flutter Mane, aka the Flutterfish. So now sometimes you may not need to necessarily rely on Calm Mind. You can rely on Beats of Ruin to help you, get a little bit more damage and push over the curve to be able to pick up KOs. I think this is also like something that's proven over time. I've even seen something like Iron Hands here. Just like, again, another aggressive fake out user. It's pretty good into Zamazenta also, because you have Drain Punch. So I think some core like this also works out pretty decently if you want to consider it. And again, we mentioned Tornadus as the other prankster user along with Whimsicott for the hyper offensive idea. And then I've also seen stuff like Comfey, in previous regulationG teams with Terapagos. And the whole idea is, again, you're going for floral healing, okay? So this way you can stay topped off, relatively healthy. And then you also have Trick Room, right? So you can just flip Trick Rooms, or you can even flip those Tailwinds upside their head by clicking Trick Room yourself. I think this also will work. And then you also have Draining Kiss, right? So if you're afraid of Urshifu, again, you can just go for Draining Kiss, and you just beat it, right? Just because you have a Comfey, which is kind of funny, all things considered. And then again, Helping Hand, right? So like Helping Hand Terapagos, and just into like a strong attack in general is pretty solid too. Then you just have like good old standard classic Amoonguss, right? So again, you are poison, you are able to resist fighting types too. So you can do like Rocky Helmet Amoonguss, break that Urshifu Sash, right? And then, you know, just click Spore potentially on a given opportunity and just put things to sleep. And then that'll create the space you need to be able to set up these Calm Minds / substitutes, right? So I think Amoonguss also works out as a pretty good partner for Terapagos. But yeah, those are just like some general ideas. So, you know, any of those partners work. And then once you pick the partner that you want, in my opinion, that'll dictate the rest of the team just in terms of, you know, matching up in some other popular restricteds, as well as like making your Terapagos mode a little bit stronger. But at least start with some of those partners that I listed, and then from there, construct the team accordingly. I'm going to show you about, you know, 4 or 5 builds here, as I always like to do, just to give you some options in how you want to play Terapagos. But we'll start with like the very, very classic balanced one here. All right, so for the first build, I think we can just go like pretty standard balanced stuff. So again, just adding the Incineroar, the Rillaboom, okay, is going to be pretty decent start. And then you add the Ogerpon Heartflame, like we showed a little bit earlier. So you get double fake out, double redirection to, I'm sorry, not double redirection, double fake out and redirection to try and set up this Calm Mind. Then you can add the Fire, Water, Grass core by adding the Urshifu Rapid Strike here. And then Flutter Mane, of course, can give you another special attacker and a little bit of speed control with something like Icy Wind. And it can also give you, you know, a little bit of para hacks, you know, with something like Thunder Wave here. And these type of Flutter Manes, you know, they don't run Shadow Ball anymore, right? Because they just want to break Sash, get speed control this way, or go for Thunder Waves like this, and then you can get the advantage that way for your Terapagos. So I think, you know, just Booster Energy Flutter Mane is just going to be like relatively solid for what we want it to do. And then once you get the speed boost, you outspeed pretty much everything. And then you can get the speed boost advantage for your own Terapagos in like potential late game stuff. But you can also do it for your Ogerpons and your Urshifu and then let these guys sweep here, right? So, you know, just like common strategies here. Again, you can do like instant Terapagos. You know, you can do like fake out stuff. You know, just set up Calm Mind. You can even do that for substitute if you want. Or same thing with Rillaboom here. Or you can redirect with something like Follow Me. All right, and then just set up the Calm Mind that way. And then you also have like fake out pressure plus surging strikes, right? Don't overlook that, because again, you can't really protect against surging strikes. So if you have the fake out pressure with the surging strikes, then you can always just chip things down, put them in range for the Flutter Mane or something like or Terapagos to be able to clean up in the end game, right? So this is just like a relatively standard build. This is like the 6 that has been winning like lots of tournaments online. Same thing with like Victory Road. This is something that you got to see also in the summer, right? When you had the last month of regulationG running around. So I think it works even right now. I think there was a player from Japan that was running like the Calm Mind substitute set, and that's where like we're picking up right where they left off with the Terapagos here. So you can do leftovers here. Again, just to combine it with Rillaboom Grassy Terrain Recovery, you know, just double the healing that you're going to be able to get. So this way you stay topped off, and then you're able to stick on the field for a little bit more time. Of course, Tera Starfall, Starstorm, and then Protect over here. Then the Instant. So, you know, you've got you got 2 Amoonguss immunity, so you don't necessarily have to go Safety Goggles here if you don't want to. I think 2 is a good number there, but if you are comfortable, then you can definitely do like the Rocky Helmet stuff and then just break Urshifu Sash or Chenpao Sash this way. And then after that, you know, it's just Parting Shot, knock off Will-O-Wisp. Okay, and then Terra Ghost ideally. Then the Rillaboom here, of course, you know, just with the Assault Vest, stay super bulky. With the AV, then you can go technically Terra Grass here. I'll just show you like the main Terras that, you know, these guys were doing. So Fake Out, Wood Hammer, of course Grassy Glide, and then U-Turn here, right? So, you know, ideally you are weak to like the flying stuff. You are weak to fire types, of course, and then even to an extent the poison moves, something like Sludge Bomb, Landorus. But then, you know, just by going grass, you get a little bit more damage out of your Rillaboom, so you can always think of it like that. Otherwise, you can just go Terra Fire here and just, you know, have resistance to all of that. So I think Adamant Nature is good. You know, 132 HP for the optimal grassy terrain recovery, 196 Adamant Nature for the EV bump there, right? And again, here's that point in the video where I start advertising, you know, if you want to get better at competitive Pokemon and you need to learn how to create EV spreads, make sure you ask and comment below what are EV bumps. I will reply to you, I will respond to you. Or you can also check out our video description and you can check out our video that we made back in the summer on what are EV bumps. Because again, if you're trying to take that next step in your journey to learning this game, you have to understand what EV bumps are. So if you don't, comment and ask below what are EV bumps, and hopefully my definition will make sense to you here. But here's the third bump here. The second bump is, of course, you know, when you have Adamant 116 over here, and then the first one was at Adamant 36. This is too weak though, so at least you can go like, you know, 252 HP, 116 Rillaboom. Otherwise, you can drop it down a little bit, go 132 and then 196 here. All right, I think, you know, either or are pretty good at the moment. I just want this thing to outspeed something like a Pelipper, modest Pelipper at least. And then after that, just dump the rest here into Spread F. I've been using this Rillaboom, you know, throughout all of our videos here because it's just a really good spread that hasn't really failed me. You know, again, triple digits with the Assault Vest, you know, you get to live a lot of different things there. So I've been keeping that. Ogerpon Heartflame here, so Adamant Nature, and then just being able to outspeed base 90s, right? You know, so about 212 investment, that will outspeed, you know, Kyogres, right? You know, and then you can just wood hammer them, which is important. And then of course you have the Ivy Cudgel play, and then just Spiky Shield. Now that being said, I have seen some Ogerpons that were using Taunt. I think Taunt is kind of funny. But to give up Follow Me, I think it's like, it's kind of crazy a little bit, but I have seen Taunt on some of those Ogerpons, and I tried it myself. So hopefully we can show you a game where I did use that, but I just think Follow Me is just a little bit more consistent on the Ogerpon itself. I could definitely see, you know, Taunt on Urshifu, by the way, but you know, these Urshifus, they were running Mystic Water, Surging Strikes, Close Combat, Aqua Jet, and Protect, and it was a Terra Poison Urshifu. So this type of Urshifu will be able to resist the Fairy weakness, right? And this is the build that people were doing in the summer, more or less, right? With these Terras, except the Rillaboom was Terra Grass, but again, you know, to each their own. I just think just Adamant Rillaboom, Urshifu is all you need here with some bulk. You can still go max speed, obviously, but you don't need full Adamant, you know, 252. I think you can go at 156 here. Just have a little bit of HP there, you know, just again, giving that factor of 16 for the Rillaboom terrain recovery, and then just dumping the rest into special defense like this. All right, so at least you have some bulk there, but I don't think you need max attack if you're going to be running the Mystic Water set here. The Flutter Mane here, boost energy, so I just like to live the Chien-Pao stuff, and that's always going to be something like 108 HP, 196 defense, and then just the Timid Nature here, right about here, 140, okay? This is going to be faster than Roaring Moon, so this way you'll always have the speed advantage all over that thing, you know, whether it's Timid or not, and then after this, you can just go with that build that I was saying, 108 and then 196. So again, I put it to 108 first because again, that's another factor of 16 for Rillaboom, and then enough defense where I can survive the Chien-Pao ice attacks, and then the rest just goes here into special attack, right? This is our bulky Flutter Mane set that has always been very solid for us throughout the course of our adventures in Scarlet and Violet, right? So now how do we EV the Terapagos, by the way? So honestly, I just go modest here, and you know, just enough to live the the Impish +1 156 body press from a Zamazenta. So first I set the HP to right here, 256. Again, another good solid factor for Rillaboom's terrain recovery. 256, obviously, you know, divided by 16. That's going to give you about a 16. You know, it is going to give you 16 recovery, right, as it says here in the calculator. So perfect 16 recovery, right? Then you can just dump the rest here into defense like this. And this is going to let you live the Zamazenta stuff, right? And then after that, then you can go right about here, the next benchmark in your special attack stat. I think that's already okay. Get a nice even number there for your SPDF, and you can just round out your speed with something like this. And if anything, you can just take 1 point off here and go 115. So this way you can outspeed the max speed Blood Moons, okay? So I would just go for this and then, you know, just roll with it. But I do have the bulk that I need to be able to survive everything that I want. I can survive close combat Urshifu, especially if I have Incineroar or Intimidate. I definitely live it at that point here. All right, speaking of Incin, all right, we'll go for the Urshifu. We'll go with the Impish 244 188 defense set. So this is a common Incin spread right now, of course, you know, for that Urshifu stuff. So you can live it, all right? And then after that, you know, these 76 EVs, they're just left over, so you could just dump something like this. I still like a little bit of speed on my instant, so I just want to divide it up like this. So at least, you know, with 84 investment, if I can Thunder Wave something, right, and if it's a base 100 Pokemon, then I can at least outspeed that. But I like a little bit of speed on my instant. I don't normally run like no speed instant. I run just a tiny bit just to kind of see the interactions with the other instant, if I have like a faster Intimidate or not. So this way I can know what kind of speed investment you have on your instant. Because if you're faster, then that means you have more speed than me, right? Which means a little bit less bulk somewhere. And if you're slower, then I have more speed, right? So that means you might have a little bit more bulk than me. So that's the way I view it. All right, the Ogerpon here. So, oh yeah, I forgot to actually finish EVing this thing. So I just go Adamant 76 here. Again, the first benchmark in the Adamant nature. 164 investment here, you know, for the Rillaboom terrain recovery, and then about 52 defense. This lets me live a Glacial Lance from a Calyrex Ice Rider, and then that last point can just go into special defense. And this is it. This is like version 1. This is the most common Terapagos squad that you'll see right now, just with the fake out boys, with Urshifu here, and then you have Heartflame and then Flutter Mane here, you know, supporting and coming into specific matchups, right? This is like one idea right now. I'll show you a couple test games with this, and then we'll show you another variant that you can do with Terapagos. All right, as typical of a Miraidon team as they come. So you know what you're getting with this. You know, there's a Whimsicott, Miraidon, Heartflame, Ogerpon, Iron Hands here, and then Urshifu. This is actually one of the teams that we put out that I actually got top 8 in a 300+ person tournament. So we'll put out that rental soon. But just looking at Miraidon teams, again, the terrain advantage. Okay, so Rillaboom can come. Now, they likely bring their Ogerpon too, just to take advantage of our terrain as well. But this is where something like Incineroar is also going to be valuable to not only intimidate their Ogerpon, intimidate their Iron Hands, potentially click Fake Out, right? And then pressure the Ferrigraph a little bit with Knockoff. Same thing with the Incin, intimidate it, so this way close combat can pick up our Terapagos. So you have to view it like that, okay? And then at the same time, Flutter Mane can also come here to pressure both the Urshifu and the Iron Hands, and then speed control against the Miraidon with Icy Wind, right? Maybe even forcing a Tera out of it. So that's how I kind of view this matchup here. So I'm going to go with Incin and Rillaboom ideally. So this way we can at least test him out and see what he wants to do. So he leaves the Ogerpon, which is correct, you know, just in case I let Rillaboom here. So now he benefits, but I intimidate him. So how much benefit are you going to really have? So Ivy Cudgel does not KO. He's going for the Incin. Now, again, this is why we went with our impish, you know, 188 defense here. Look at that. We survive. And we do so much damage to that Urshifu. Right? I U-turn out the Ogerpon. I could have also clicked Grassy Glide into that Urshifu there, all things considered, but I thought he might even just click follow me. So I burned the Ursh here. I could have actually just parting shotted it rather than go for the burn there. I think that might have been a better play. So in hindsight, I may want to change that, but again, this is still okay. I'm going to go back into Rillaboom here. I want to preserve my Incin. He goes for the Aqua Jet. I kind of figured he might try that. So I just go for the Moonblast there, so I don't have to worry about this Ursh later. Now, that being said, it was burned. I could have even just targeted something else there, but I figured, let me just get rid of it now. So this is why I thought Parting Shot would have been good. So we click Fake Out to Miraidon. I know he didn't bring the Ferrigraph because I've seen his 4 now. So Icy Wind. Now we get some speed advantage on the Miraidon. He goes for the Wild Charge, right, onto the Rillaboom here, which is okay. I can go into Terapagos here. I can click Icy Wind here, but again, he has the idea to switch out here back into his Ogerpon, just in case if I do Tera, which I do. I think here in hindsight, I should just account for him to switch and then just go for Calm Minds and then just try and even just remove the Iron Hands here, right? But again, Tera Starstorm doesn't even pick up there, which is actually kind of funny when you think about it. I am a little shocked about that, but he does end up KOing himself because of Wild Charge there. But he does get the terrain back here. He goes Terra Fairy, of course. I'm just going to click Protect here. I try to go for the Moonblast just to try and get a special attack reduction here. I don't get it. He goes for the D-Gleam. All right, so there's that. But I do have Incineroar coming in with Intimidate onto the Ogerpon, and I still have Fake Out Pressure, of course, right? And again, the Miraidon can't protect, and I know that. No Follow Me comes out. So this is just a very easy, you know, just Terra Star. And I even live the Ivy Cudgel anyway. So that kind of just guarantees it in itself there. Okay. So yeah, we just pick up everything after that and we finish things off. So again, in hindsight, I think I did not necessarily need to Tera there, but I did try to pick up at least a couple KOs there. I was surprised the Iron Hands lived, but you know, at the same time, it was just all about using the Urshifu Rillaboom idea early on to, you know, mitigate his damage, and we did that. And you can see some of our EV spreads, they did come into play here with the Incineroar surviving the Urshifu at least. All right, so this is one of the matchups we talked about. Koraidon here, and that is the standard Koraidon team right now. He's got the Raging Bull, Flutter Mane, Cornerstone with the Ditto in the back potentially, right? So most common Koraidon team right now. So this is actually Takanaka, right? We played Takanaka before, and he's actually showed up in some of our videos. We like playing against Takanaka because he's a good player, and we've always had some good games. I think I've won most of them. If anything, I've won all of them, but I don't know if Takanaka knows that he's in my videos, but hey, shout outs to them. So I know I'm going to get a good match here. So here's Flutter Mane here as my lead with Ogerpon Heartflame in case he wants to lead the his Koraidon. He actually leads with the Ditto. I was very surprised about that. You usually don't see a Ditto lead like this, right? So he's taking a gamble here. Okay, I'm just going to go for Icy Wind, get the speed control here, and then just smash with the Ivy Cudgel. He doesn't even click Protect there. He's just protecting his Ditto here. I think that's interesting. But we get the key KO on the Ogerpon already, right? He does click Thunder Wave. He does go Terrify Koraidon now, okay? So there's the Flame Charge, right? I live. There's our Flutter Mane bulk, okay? And he does protect the Ditto there. So smart play. I do get the speed back, okay? So I do Thunder Wave the Koraidon here. I'm just going to protect the Flutter here, all right? And then just bop their Flutter Mane, right? So I get 2 KOs in 3 turns, which is great, right? So we're in a decent spot here. The Koraidon's paralyzed. Okay, so it's going well. Okay, so now I have to start considering something else. So Icy Wind actually picks up my Flutter Mane here, and I'm a little sad about that. Otherwise, I did not need to click Follow Me, but again, the combination of that with Flavorless was just way too much there. So now I'm gonna go into Terapagos here, and then I have my Incineroar at least. I can't click Fake Out if I have to try and set up. Okay, I know he's got the Clear Amulet, so he does protect, obviously. I don't really have a better play there other than to force it. I could have even read that and went for the Flutter Mane, but would that have really helped me? I don't know. But at least I can get up a Calm Mind here just to try and survive here. So there's my leftovers here. And I'm going to protect at least this turn. I know he wants it dead. He tried to click Sunny Day thinking I was going to Tera and blow up his weather. But I'm just going to knock off there, right? There goes the Clear Amulet. So you know, not that it really does anything at this point. I just tried to, you know, get some chip damage there. But here we go. I go for the Stare, but look at this, right? I eat the Moonblast, but look at this Koraidon. He does not kill the Terapagos, man. If that is not a factor of the Clover Bells EV Spread Academy, I don't know what is, okay? All right? You ever seen a Terapagos live a collision course there? Okay? You can definitely assume that this guy was not adamant Koraidon there. So there you go, folks. Okay, if that is not enough, then I don't know what else you want me to show you. All right, the other balance idea, you know, sticking with more or less similar core pieces is, you know, you can use the Scream Tail idea that we showed a little bit earlier. So with Play Rough, Encore, Disable, Protect, what you can do is just go with a Jolly build here and go 228 plus, so at least you hit the 3rd benchmark there. This is also 1 point faster than, you know, max speed Dondozo stuff, so you can always outspeed them. And then just max the HP and put the remaining points into defense there. That's just like your leftover bulk. But again, you get to outspeed things, you get to click Encore and Disable and then just lock them, and then it's very problematic for them. And then that creates the space that you need for Terapagos to be able to click Calm Mind and substitute. And then over here, you can still go with this Fire Water Grass Cover with Instant Rillaboom Ursh, but go with the Rock Ogerpon here. I think Rock Ogerpon is just like also relatively solid. Ivy Cudgel, just a hard-hitting Ivy Cudgel that, you know, it's not a lot of resist going for it right now. So I think just a solid, strong rock move is very, very good. And you still get the redirection support that you need to be able to set up the Terapagos. Okay, so this next variant is the hyper aggressive variant where you can just add choice specs onto your Terapagos and do tons of damage immediately without needing to set up the Calm Mind. So obviously you're going to start things off with Terra Starstorm. You have Dark Pulse now for your Shadow Rider matchup. Then you have Earth Power for something like Zamazenta for, you know, as an example, just to have something to click into that if you need to. And then Hyper Beam is just like another filler slot that maybe you can click, well, whenever you need to. But our Whimsicott here, so what we've been able to do is just aim for the speed tier of 169. This is going to be faster than Landorus, so this way we don't get Sludge Bomb to death first. And then after that, you just have all these leftover EVs where you can just dump the rest into HP like this. Then you have 112 EVs left, just even it out, just in terms of your bulk. And that's really all you need out of your Whimsicott here. Terapagos, obviously with specs, you just go Modest 253, 252. The Urshifu and the Ogerpon Heartflame return yet again. I just love these two. It's a very easy Fire, Water, Grass core, you know, just redirection and Surging Strikes pressure. All right, same spreads here, obviously. I'm just going Terra Stellar on this Urshifu now. The Ferrograph itself, I just went to 224 for the Rillaboom terrain recovery number, and then I just went to the second bump in defense, right, which is right here, and then I just dumped the rest here into special defense, and that was it. And then the Landers here, again, just a timid set, you know, timid 252, 252 Life Orb set with standard moves, you know, with Earth Power, Sandstream Storm, and Sludge Bomb. Ferrograph with Helping Hand in Trick Room, you know, with Terapagos is also very, very punishing. Helping Hand Urshifu Surging Strikes is also strong. Helping Hand Ivy Cudgel, Helping Hand everything, you know, especially with Landers here. It's just going to be a very, very useful move overall. So shoutouts to, you know, Alex Gomez and Eric Rios for this variant back in Worlds. So all we did was just simply recreate it with our own spreads. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to show you a couple games with it and some tests. And then this way we'll move on to the next variant. Alright, so this guy's running like some interesting Miraidon idea with Dondozo, right? So he's got Miraidon, Iron Valiant, Ursh, Ogerpon Heartflame. He's got a key 4 there, and then it looks like he just took out 2 slots there and just slapped on Dozogiri. Great job, great job. But I like Trick Room here, just because, again, with an Ogerpon Heartflame, I can easily set it up. Because I can redirect an attack, click Trick Room, and then go into Terapagos if they kill the Ogerpon, and then just start dealing tons of damage here. I do think he has to bring Dondozo here, because none of these guys can survive the Terapagos Trick Room sweep. So I think that is exactly what he has to do here. So I'm going to go Ferrograph, I'm going to go Ogerpon Heartflame, see what he's got. He's going to go Miraidon, and he's going to go with Dondozo here. So as expected, I know he's got Dozogiri in the back. So he actually just goes for Volt Switch. I didn't even redirect there. I kind of wanted to do that. I could have just lost the Ferrograph right here, but he gets a little greedy, and he goes for the Ogerpon instead. And I do, you know, die to it, but I get up Trick Room. So I'm very surprised he just did that. And, you know, it could have cost me too. I should have just, you know, redirected. All right, I'm going to go Terapagos here. Okay, I'm going to go Stellar Terra here. Just blow up everything. All right, Helping Hand. Just try and deal as much damage as I can into Dondozo. Just to, you know, try and speed things up here. So this way I can get the Miraidon under Trick Room. He goes for the Ferrograph there. So I've lost 2 here, and he hasn't lost any Pokemon here. So I'm going to go into Landorus, right? And now he has no choice but to protect. He's in trouble. 2 turns left. All right, we're definitely picking him up here, and he's going to have 1 turn left when we do. All right, so again, he's just getting all this recovery. So there's the Terra Starstorm. All right, Dondozo takes a lot of damage, and there's the Earth Power, and we pick up. So now Tatsugiri's still here, but again, there's still 1 more turn of Trick Room, and Terapagos is also still here. All right, there's the Terra Starstorm. We crit the Tatsugiri. I don't think that crit necessarily mattered per se. Earth Power to Miraidon. Goodbye. Okay, and now he has nothing but just Urshifu here. All right, and watch this. He's gonna click the most famous move that you've ever seen. All right, there's the close combat, but we live because we created the Terapagos EV spread to survive set attack there. Okay, so again, all right, if that's not enough for you, I don't know what is. Okay, we're going to keep a lot of the same core pieces here, but now what we're going to do is we're going to add the Grimmsnarl with Covert Cloak. So we spoke about this one earlier in the video, but Thunder Wave is what we're looking for here for a little bit more speed control. Foul Play, of course, great into the Shadow Rider and CSR. I'm sorry, Calyrex Shadow Rider and the Calyrex Ice Rider. Okay, and then we have Reflect for physical damage mitigation, and then, of course, Taunt here. So you got Calm Mind for special attack damage reduction, and you've got Reflect for physical attack damage reduction. Now you add Taunt here so you can stop the Protect, stop the Spore, stop all the other shenanigans. And then you still have your Fire, Water, Grass covered Ogerpon and Urshifu here, right? So same spreads that I've been doing. The Grimmsnarl here, all you're doing is you're hitting the benchmark, adding 12 points into some speed, you know, just potential Incineroar or Speed Ties, and then just literally dumping the rest into HP and defense, right? Very standard Grimmsnarl set that we've been using since Sword and Shield, honestly. The Landorus now, we can go Choice Scarf here, and now we can go Modest. And now this outspeeds Chiyu, by the way, because Modest Chiyu versus Modest Landorus, we're going to outspeed him, we're going to beat it. And then we have the Urshifu Surging Strikes here, of course, still Adamant 252, 252. The Ogerpon set hasn't changed at all. And now we add Raging Bolt here. So Raging Bolt is actually pretty cool, you know, against those Kyogre teams. You have a little bit more speed control with Electro Web here. Okay, Thunderclap, T-Bolt, right? Now you've got an AV set, right? So you're super bulky too. So this will also, you know, be pretty good against other Urshifus too, right? Rapid Strike Urshifus, you can, you know, pin them a little bit by going for like these harder hitting thunderclaps. So you can always just consider that as something that you can use, you know, with your Raging Bolt. But again, it's just all about damage mitigation. You could just leave Grimmsnarl Raging Bolt here. You know, you can click Reflect, and then you can, you know, with the AV, you're already like super bulky anyway, and then you can just click E-Webs, click Clap and Bolt, chip things down until like Urshifu can come in and finish things off, as well as like your own Terapagos over here. But that's the name of the game here. Play a little bit defensive, right? Until things are within range where like some of these guys like Urshifu and Terapagos can just clean things up, ideally when it's all said and done, okay? So let me show you some games with this because there were some pretty exciting ones. All right, so we've got the weather matchup with Kyogre over here. So by the way, I just want to mention, again, this was like the Eric Rios, Alex Gomez variant, you know, from the World Championships. I thought, you know, their sakes was like really, really cool and creative. So I just wanted to recreate it for you guys here. But anyway, so look at this. We've got weather. We can blow it up. We've got terrain. We can blow that up too with the Terapagos here, right? It's just all about getting that position that we need to be able to do it. We've got Grimmsnarl screens that can help a little bit, especially with Thunder Wave pressure, you know, into the Ogre. We can outspeed it. You know, Landorus could do well here with Sandsear Storm, technically. We also have Raging Bolt there to try and use against the Kyogre too. So lots of ideas. Okay, so I just want to go with Landorus here, and I also just want to go with Urshifu just to do more damage in the rain. He's going to go with Grimmsnarl. He's going to go with Kyogre here, right? So this is okay. He actually makes a good swap into Amoonguss here. So that means he's probably like Rocky Helmet here. I wanted to go for Sandsear just to get a little bit of damage, right? I probably should have just went a little bit more with Earth Power there, but the Amoonguss is doing way too much damage to my Urshifu. Obviously breaking my Sash here. The Amoonguss lives. Also, Ice Beam goes into my Landorus, so he keeps the Urshifu up, but he kills the Landorus there. So I'm very sad about that. But, you know, I still got Ogerpon here, right? And I can pressure the Ogre. I can ignore the Amoonguss. I knew he would do this, so I just wanted to protect here and just get rid of the Amoonguss, right? I know I'm taking Chip, you know, with the Rocky Helmet, but the goal is to preserve my Ogerpon and force that Grass Tera. And then, now the Origin Pulse comes out and he kills my Urshifu. That's okay, but at least I forced the Grass Tera out from the Kyogre here. I was never going to click a Fire move into that in the rain, because now Terapagos can come in here. I know there's a Grimmsnarl, but this is fine. So now I know he wants to switch here. He's thinking I'm going to Tera, but actually what I do is I actually don't. He does click Thunder Wave there. I go for Wood Hammer. I think what probably would have been better is just to redirect the Grimmsnarl Thunder Wave and just set up the Calm Mind that way. I think that would have been 100 times better. But in the end, this is what I've got. But this is okay because I blew up the weather there. So the Urshifu can't kill me if he wanted to go for the Surging Strikes here, right? So I do live, and I figured I would. And now I can click Tera Starstorm. I kill the Grimmsnarl. The Kyogre has no choice but to come in. And I know I can beat it in the end game because he's already Terra'd. I just have to get past the Urshifu, which is very easy also. Surging Strikes comes out. I just have to not get paralyzed here, right? And then we're good. There's the Origin Pulse. So I don't care about that. I just need to not get parried and get rid of the Ursh, right? Look how much damage the Ogre takes there, even with Light Screen. So it's like totally fine here. I'm getting leftovers recovery as well. Origin Pulse comes out. If he crit, he probably would have just beat me there. But Tera Starstorm is able to pick up there. So he doesn't get a single Parahax there. And I'm able to clean that up. But again, I think it probably would have been safer just to, you know, redirect away the Thunder Wave with the Ogerpon there. So in hindsight, I think I did not play that optimally. But I played it well enough where I was still able to, you know, clutch out that win there. All right, this is a Groudon team here. This is actually a pretty cool Groudon team, but he does have a Flamigo there. I don't know why he has that. Probably for his Terapagos matchup. I could think of 100 different Pokemon that can probably be better in that Flamigo style. Like, why not just use Urshifu, man? What are we doing with this Flamigo? But Flamigo does get Wide Guard, so I will give him that. So he gets a fighting type of Wide Guard, but again, you know, you can always do something like with Mienshao, right? So, you know, to each their own a little bit here. But again, something like Landorus also looks really good here. Again, I can outspeed the Chiyu potentially because I have a Scarf. And even if he has a Scarf, you know, that doesn't matter. I got pressure into the Raging Bolt too. If I can force this Groudon to go Tera Fire, especially if I bring my Ogerpon here, by forcing it to go Tera Fire, the Landorus can beat it. And that's my goal there. And then Terapagos can just do whatever it wants. Ideally, you know, again, I do think he has to bring the Flamigo here just for that. But, you know, I still have the advantages. So he's going to go with Chiyu. He's going to go with Flutter Mane. I'm going to go with Landorus here. And I'm going to go with the Grimmsnarl. I'm trying to mitigate damage here. I'm going to click Thunder Wave here. He goes into the Flamigo. Great play there. So this way my Earth Power gets whiffed. But he brings out the Flamigo now. So Yeah, and the Flutter Mane clicks Dazzling Gleam, does a lot of damage. But again, D-Tech comes out over there. That's fine, right? I just want to click Reflect just to have some resistance against Groudon there in the end game, and we do get the para from the Grimmsnarl there. So now we pick up the Flutter Mane anyway. All right, and now the Flamigo goes for close combat into the Grimmsnarl itself. So that thing has the Sash, of course. Here comes Chiyu. I definitely outspeed that. Here comes Ogerpon Heartflame here. I don't want to take Brave Bird, but again, I can just, you know, outspeed it. He goes into Groudon here. You know, I should have been more aggressive there and just hit the Groudon for, you know, big damage there, especially with, you know, Ivy Cudgel there. But he goes Terra Fire Groudon. He's scared of it. But that's what I wanted. Now I just killed the Groudon here. And now the Ogerpon was free to go for the Flamigo here. And, you know, the Terapagos was going to clean this up anyway. But, you know, the Flamigo can't go 3-on-1. So, that being said, I still think I would have had to switch out the Landorus here because I was locked into a ground move here. But at that point, the Landorus can beat the Flamigo. I just have to reset my ground move there. Alright, so there it is, you know, 4 easy builds that you can use with Terapagos to start things off. This is the standard one, you know, with Instant Rillaboom Urshifu. Ogerpon Heartflame comes over here with redirection support, double fake out pressure to try and set up the Calm Minds. Then you've got the speed control aspect with Icy Wind and Thunder Mane, Flutter Mane with booster energy for the speed advantage, you know, to help you get the speed that you need to potentially let stuff like Urshifu, Terapagos, and even Ogerpon Heartflame outspeed threats and sweep. Then you have this idea with Scream Tail, you know, just Encore disable locking opponents. So this way, anything that kind of seems oppressive, like close combat or you know, body press, or for that matter, you can just disable that and then go from there. Then you have this Tailwind variant, the aggressive idea with Choice Specs Terapagos. Then, you know, you have the Landorus with Life Orb. And then Ogerpon Heartflame, Urshifu, Rapid Strike come back yet again. Very standard Fire Order Grass Cord that we've been, you know, constantly using and building around for most of these teams. We're just switching out some pieces here, but in this case, again, Whimsicott comes along with Ferga for, you know, helping hand in those Trick Room games. Then this is the Eric Rios, Alex Gomez variant from Worlds, right? Where, again, you have the Grimmsnarl idea, you know, just Thunder Wave, Speed Control, Reflect, for physical damage reduction. You've already got Calm Mind for special damage reduction. And then you just have Taunt Pressure to stop Protects and Spores and Trick Room ideas. Then still Ogerpon Heartflame and Urshifu Rapid Strike come yet again. We just switched out the Prankster Mon. We can go Choice Scarf Landorus here. And then Raging Bolt comes here. You know, again, for a little bit more speed control. Along with the Thunder Wave, we have E-Webs here. Clap, Bolt, Pulse. So, you know, lots of things going for us, right? And then Landorus with the Scarf, again, is just inherently able to outspeed a Chiyu, just because, you know, you're always 1 point faster than the base 100s, right? So these are 4 easy teams that you can use to start things off. So let me know what you think of these squads. Again, there are some other variants, but I think these are like the 4 most solid and most consistent one right now as of today. So give them a go. Let us know how you do. And again, if you need to build your own team that's not something like this, and you still need some help, make sure you sign up for coaching on the channel. If you look in the video description below, as well as in the pinned comment section, there is a link to join the channel with the tier 3 sub. And then we can help you get a team that you need for an upcoming tournament, upcoming regional. Maybe you just need something for ladder play or some online tournament instead. Whatever it is, we've got you covered. So sign up and then, you know, message me on Discord. You can join the Discord for free, by the way. Just look in the description. Click the link and join. But other than that, hopefully you've been enjoying our guides, and hopefully they've given you some inspiration as far as like what you could do to start things off, you know, with regulationG and some of these other restricteds. But yeah, that's it for now, folks. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.